Don't want to be overthinking it, right?
So a couple short ones.
Yeah, take your time. You don't need to rip through 20 balls. Pace down, okay? All right, slow it down. Let yourself kind of warm up naturally, okay?
Yeah, he was really nice and he seemed knowledgeable and stuff. But then like I think I was hitting a 7, right? And I was only hitting really probably averaging like 140, 150, which, you know, I should be hitting more or farther. And I saw the numbers, and again, it was really just how I was trying to fix the things in my swing. And then he like took a 7, and he's like, well, if you hit like this, I was like, well, you've been playing for 15 years, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, I can't hit like that today. So yeah, it is what it is though. I do like those clubs, and the 5s felt really good.
Mm-hmm.
But in my mind, I want something I can grow into, and I feel like, you know, the 5s are pretty forgiving, and they're like mid to high handicap, I think, whereas the 7s were for like a lower handicap. Their workability was supposedly better.
First thing we're going to do, we're going to move that ball up in our setup a little bit.
Stance, yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So with an 8 iron, it's going to be just slightly up of center, right? Probably about a ½ inch or an inch
Okay.
up of center. Okay. The more the ball's back, the more we got to go back to go get it. All right. Now we're starting to get our spin back to where it needs to kind of be, at least.
Yeah, even the website said a combo set was like the best of both worlds. Long irons in the 5 and
Mm-hmm.
the other one's in the 7. I think the big thing that I've noticed, once obviously I get warmed up, but I was hitting straight, I was getting decent compression, it's still, and I was trying to get my attack angle better. I kind of have a method in my mind where
Okay.
you know,
I
grip.
may break that today, okay? I may break that method a little bit, okay?
Yeah, no, that's fine. I meant more of setup, really, like looking at my grip and then the path, keeping my head down, hitting through the ball.
You know, one thing that did kind of stick out to me just a little bit is that he was trying to get you to rotate.
Yeah,
And it's a good thought, right? I do, but sometimes rotation isn't for everybody. Does that make sense?
of course.
Right?
You know me better than he does.
Right. The big thing is that, you know, do you know, as you know, you haven't been playing for a very long time, but you know, do you have, you know, is the body capable of doing that move right now? There may be some things that we might need to look at, you know, as far as you know, things that are restricting your, you know, body movements and stuff like that. So trying to get to do something with rotation can be kind of tricky at times.
Yeah, no, for sure.
Right?
Yeah, I mean, I've been working every night before I hit 10 minutes in the corner for my chest, and I feel like that's already helped, like minor, but like even when I'm just standing there, I'm not like standing
Hunched
like
over, yeah.
I'm like, I feel myself like, oh, I'm actually like standing straight a little bit,
Yeah.
which is nice.
You know, it can get very frustrating if you're trying to make a move and your body won't allow you to.
Yeah.
Right? And then, you know, we either compensate somewhere else. Put that ball down. Throw that thing out.
Oh yeah, it's cracked.
Thing's as cracked as bad as that 5.
Yeah, but that ball might be real, Tim. Now I gotta freaking sell some Temu clubs. Oh, I almost sold them to a family friend too, so.
Glad you didn't do that.
Yeah, that would have been bad. I'm gonna call the guy. He might have just been bullshitting me. That makes me even more angry. Oh well.
I hope it's just a mistake.
Yeah.
Give me a couple more here. We're gonna videotape, take a look at what we're doing right, what we're doing wrong.
Okay.
Alright. Now, I know one thing that we kind of worked on a little bit was our hip slide a little bit, which would, if we still have that, right, that would change or alter our low point, right?
Okay.
Good. Let's take a look at that. All right, so as we kind of come on in here and take a look, we'll jump on in here and take a look real quick. All right, one thing I kind of see here, right, as we kind of talked about here, I think he's got a 6 iron, you've got an 8.
Mm-hmm.
Look how much shaft lean we've got here to start off with.
Yeah.
Okay, so I want to get our hands probably back just a little bit and get that ball up just a little bit.
Okay.
Okay. The other thing you can kind of see here is it looks like we've got a little excessive shoulder tilt. And that might be because of the club that we have. It might be a little short, right? So that's one compensation that we're kind of making right there. The other thing is I want to see is, you see this back foot right here?
Yeah.
That's got to be square to our line.
Okay.
Right,
So
that-
more open or more closed.
Yeah, so it needs to be like this.
Okay.
Okay, see how John Rahm's got that thing straight on?
Okay.
Okay. This guy can be turned out a little bit.
I see. Okay.
Okay?
I opened both, I think, because he did say something about balance, and I did feel off balance, so I kind of opened a little bit, but you're saying just open the front. Maybe?
Yeah, I'd open up the front. We
Okay.
want to keep that right foot in a good position. We're going to take a look here, but that would encourage a slide.
Okay.
And that's something that we were trying to work away from on the last time,
Yeah.
right? So, and we haven't run through there, right? But if I've got my foot like this, I'm going to kind of move, which is going to get my spine moving, right? Which takes my low point from here to over here, and
Yeah.
I bet we're probably going to have to flip to get to the ball a little bit,
Okay.
right?
Yeah.
So that's where our low point, right here, you had a low point of 3.7, which is good,
Okay.
okay? So your attack angle is good. I'd like to have that somewhere around 4 to 5,
Okay.
okay? Ideally, right? But I do see you at some points at like 1.9
Yeah.
and 1.0 and stuff like that, which is just a little too thin, a little
Yeah.
too flippy at the
Yeah.
bottom. So let's roll on through here and take a look as we kind of continue on. And we're going to take a look down the line, but that's a dead killer right there. See that hand movement?
Yeah.
Rolling the wrists. Okay.
So he comes straight out.
Mm-hmm. Well,
So-
John Rahm's he's gonna have a lot more length in his swing, okay? But what he does, right? So this is the good thing about him. If you want to have that same takeaway, that's fine. But look where he stops,
Yeah.
okay? So he stops very short. The big thing for him is that with his way that he goes, he keeps his shoulders pretty quiet, lets his hands go, and then he hinges up. Everything here is matching up perfectly.
Yeah.
Most people would call that short, okay? But what's happening is he's getting everything to match up,
Yeah.
okay? Now I can see right here, as we start, the hands just flick into the inside a little bit. Okay, you're getting a good hinge here, but it's way too deep.
So when you said the chain, because that's what I think about. When you said the chain, it shouldn't be like this. Shouldn't be straight out and up.
No, so the big thing is about the chain that we talked about here, right? Is that the body and the hands work together. Watch John Rahm here.
I see. Okay.
See that?
Yeah.
Okay, his distance hasn't changed. Yours, right, your hands are off and running.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, and now your body's you see your body trying to chase up to it?
Yeah.
Okay, now let's see. There's a little bit of a slide. Okay, but the big thing is that you're getting, you know, we'll take a look down the line, but you're rolling your hands to the inside, I bet. Okay, and we're really deep. Okay, let's see if we got a little, yeah, and there we go. Right, here's your little, see that little flick at the bottom?
Yeah.
Okay, now you see John Rahm here, you see how he's maintaining that structure out in front of him?
Yeah.
Okay, you're losing your structure right here at impact, and you're backing on up. See that elbow moving back and away from you?
Yeah.
Okay, that's what I'm sure, what was his name, Brett, Brandon, Jake? I'm not sure.
Yeah.
You-
Blake,
you're-
maybe.
Blake, okay, Blake. I think that's what Blake was trying to get to at some point, right? Was making sure that you keep your structure through impact and not have this little flick,
Yeah.
okay? All right. So, and let's take a look here. So, one thing I'm not liking about your little device that you got, I don't like where this thumb's at, one bit. I want that guy off. Okay, I don't see any pro in the tour that's got his thumb on the shaft yet.
Yeah, I should be over here.
Correct. So I'm not sure if that's, we've got that in the wrong position, or if that's just, you know, made by Timu. You know what I mean?
It's the skills one, but it's probably just in the wrong position.
So let's kind of come on over here to this guy right quick. Okay, so you get a better feel. I think this is a little bit better feel for you right there. And feel where your thumb's at.
Yeah.
Okay, that's going to be a much better position for you to be, okay, for a takeaway and everything.
When I don't use that, I tend to keep the thumb further over. I
Okay.
think it's just that where the thing is located on the grip.
Yeah, and I think that's getting us into a bad position with our hand a little bit, okay? So, you know, we may want to, you know, just remember that, right? The thumb's not going to be down on the shaft at all, okay? It's going to be like we were fishing with a Zebco,
Yeah.
okay? Now, let's kind of continue to take a look here just a little bit.
So the takeaway here, just real quick,
Mhm.
is so the chain should be moving as I turn, kind of thing. Like I was thinking,
So
for some
here,
reason I'm hinging and then up, but
so here, let's kind of, right? So let's talk about the takeaway that we see here, right? So this is what I'm seeing right here, okay? What I'm seeing is this,
yeah,
right?
Yeah.
Club's going to get inside a little bit, right? And then what's happening here is you're getting really deep, okay? See how deep I am there?
Mhm.
I'm not going to be able to move very much more from there.
yeah,
Okay? And for you, you're getting here, it's a little bit over the top, I think. Yeah, a little over the top. And what you do to get back to it is you're going to release. Okay? Just a little bit. Okay? We want to have that feeling, right? Of more of a, like a Tommy Fleetwood punch shot, right? Where it's like this, and then, right? See how my hands are staying out in front of me? That's going to make sure that we're getting that low point where it needs to be and driving forward. Okay? Now here's the little drill that we're going to kind of work on to get that feel. So let's put the club in our belly button. Okay? Choke down. Yep. Good. All right? Now what we want to kind of do, right? There's your first move. Okay? Slow it down a little bit. Okay? So you want to get those hands moving way too quick. Okay? Here. That's it. Okay? Okay? Feel that? That's a lot different, I'm sure, right?
yeah,
Okay, here. All right. So then, there you go.
okay.
Okay. So let's do that again. Put that in your belly button. Okay. All right. So here we go. Hold on. One sec for me. Okay. So, okay. Soften this guy up. Yeah. That's gonna promote an over the top if we've got that right arm over front of it. Good. Here we go. All right. Feel all the hands and waist stay together.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. It's not the hands just making a motion in there. All right. There we go.
Okay.
Okay. So now we've got our arms and chest working together, and our hands are much more passive. Right. Okay. That would be much more of that club pushing that ball back instead of this.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Good.
Yeah, okay.
Okay.
That makes sense.
So that's the first part. Let me go grab something real quick.
Yeah,
And
you're
talk
good.
to the other part when we kind of focus. Now, the other thing you want to kind of work on here, let me kind of demonstrate this for you, okay? And then I'll let you kind of do it. We're going to take this little bag right here, okay? We're going to put our club right against it, just as so, and then you're going to push it. Feel your arms pushing away from your body, okay? Instead of kind of this motion,
Yeah.
okay? Does that make sense?
I think, yeah, and that was one of the questions I had because when I'm basically coming away, like through, I felt like I was either like this
Yeah.
or like this, and I'm not really sure where, like exactly my body should be right there.
Well, let's just get down to the bottom, push it away, try to relate to a feel, and then start building back.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay, so you got your club in hand? Okay, so go ahead and set on up for me like you normally would. I want this foot squared up. Yep, squared up. There you go. This guy can be open. There you go. Okay? All right. Club is going to be pointing more towards our, just left of our navel, not over our right thigh, or left thigh, I mean. Ball's going to be up. Very good. Good. Now, I'm going to put this right here for us. Okay? And now I just want you to push it through for me. Yes, you feel your hands and arms?
Mm-hmm.
Now look, I could come over here and I could handshake with you. Okay? Does that give you a good visual? Either hand, I could handshake with you.
Yeah.
Okay, so we're going to do a mess of these today, okay? So you get a good feeling of keeping that structure and getting rid of that flip. Mm-hmm. Where's your weight? Going forward.
Yeah.
Right? Let that toe rotate a little close. All right? So, no.
Oh.
This is your toe.
Oh.
Okay? There you go.
Okay.
Much more like that. There you go.
I see.
Okay, you see how that right
Right hand
arm
over.
is starting to take over?
Yeah.
Right? Mm-hmm. Much better, right? So as you can kind of see here, right, what you feel, right? See how everything's getting tucked in here? See
Yeah.
that elbow getting really stuck?
That I was feeling that. I felt like, and I couldn't figure out. I felt like I was releasing early. I was flipping, and instead of like driving through, and I couldn't figure out what.
Yeah. I think the big thing is that we need to get used to doing this,
Okay.
right? Pushing it forward and feeling that arm structure out in front of us.
Okay.
Okay? Hands back a little bit. Okay? All right. Good. Okay? That's more of what we're looking for right there. All right? Once again. Okay? So what we want to kind of do to replicate that is we want to hit like little punch shots.
Okay.
Okay, does that make sense? This would be like a punch finish. Doesn't it feel like
Yeah.
that for you?
Yeah.
Okay, let's do it one more time. Once again, push that through. All right, so if I took it up to set right there, okay, bring it on back. Yep, to about here. Okay, that's as far as we need to go.
Okay.
All right, and then what we want to do is we want to hit that and we want to feel like it's a punch shot, keeping it low.
Okay.
See how our arm structure is staying right there?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, that's going to start getting our ball flight down. That's going to start getting our low point ahead of the ball. Okay, and that's really where we need to be working at. Don't need to be going full swing today. Okay.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay. So just give me a couple feels like that where it feels like we're hitting a Tommy Fleetwood punch shot. Okay.
So my takeaways here.
Good. Down through. Yeah. Feel that arm structure staying out in front of you. Good. Good work. So another way you can kind of think about it a little bit is if I did this, I told you, hey, I want you to, here, let me jump right in there real quick and I'll demonstrate this real quick for you. All right, if I said, hey, there's an object like this, right in front of me, right? And this is kind of what we used to do as kids, right? If I had an object right here, right, and I got to here, and I'm going to go as hard as I can, but once I get here, I got to stop before I get there. You can see that everything starts to, my club starts going out in front of me. Okay, so it's kind of one of those things, if I got you here and you go, stop, right, you're going to feel all your weight moving forward.
Yeah.
Right? So if I kind of go like this, right, and then boom, what we start to do is we get you to kind of more or less throwing the club into the ground a little bit more than you trying to hold off on it.
Okay.
Okay, so if I got here and I go, I got to stop, right, just a small swing, you're going to notice that your hands are going to stay way out in front of you. That momentum still carrying through, right, as we go through, and we're going to maintain that structure.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay, and it, to me, it always feels like it's a little bit of a punch shot.
Okay.
Okay, so come on in here real quick. Okay.
Yeah, I think the extended club will help on this a little bit.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. Right, so let's just kind of come on up over here for me. Good, good. Now swing down and feel like you're going to brace for impact at that thing. Yeah, you feel your arms? Perfect.
Yeah.
Okay, let's do that again. Slow, get a feel, right? Yeah, right? Allow those forearms to rotate just a little bit, right?
Okay.
Okay. Yeah, that's fine. Do you notice what your left arm's doing now? Yeah, yeah, right? No flipping that.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, good. Mm-hmm. Yeah, keeping that lateral side bend as you're moving through too. So stay right there. Do it again. Okay? Okay? Right? Don't leave it open, right? And you know, one thing I see with a lot of players or a lot of young students now, and I don't know if this has gotten big on YouTube or Facebook or God knows what, right? But I don't understand why I see kids doing this.
Yeah.
That's not how, I mean, if I said, hey, take it in your right hand and I swing it, nobody's doing this.
Yeah.
Right? If I said put it in your left hand, nobody's doing this, right? They're just releasing that club, right? And that's what we want to kind of do. You're going to get your forward shaft lean in your lag from up here with a good takeaway. It's not going to come from trying to hold that angle down here, which is going to get us kind of down. And then if I do get that feeling, I know I got to get out of it.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm going to flip.
Yeah.
Right?
That's exactly, so two things. One, yes, my buddy watches YouTube. He doesn't take any lessons. He sets up like that and he does, but we already talked about that. If you're like this, how are you going to get the power really, because you're in front of the ball, so you're like having to catch up to it. But also, that's what I was trying to figure out. It was the last night or the night before, because I was like, I know shaft lean is like this, but I feel like we talked about I shouldn't be in front of the ball, and if I'm like this, I feel like I'm releasing too early. So now that you're saying shaft lean comes from the takeaway, it makes way more sense.
So watch this, right? So as I get on up here, right? Right? You see where my club's at?
Yeah.
Now as I go, there's my forward shaft lean.
Yeah.
Okay, that I've already set the angle, everything's come
Right.
towards me, right? When you look at those swings on video, right? It's longer than it's shorter, right? There's the shaft lean, right?
Yeah.
It's not coming at holding the angle, right? Because I've got to release this club at the bottom,
Yeah.
right? But it's here. When I get there, there's my shaft lean. Now I just need to deliver it, right? And then boom, right on through.
That makes
Okay.
sense. Yeah, that's what I was like. I knew I was coming in here too. I was like, I could not figure out. I'm
Yeah.
like, it feels not right when I'm trying to get the shaft lead at the bottom. So that makes so much sense. I just couldn't figure it out though.
But it's somewhere in between those two,
Yeah.
right? Does that make sense?
Yeah,
It's not
yeah.
holding it on too long. It's not releasing too early, but it's allowing our hands to stay here and then just work this tool the way that it's supposed to work.
Yeah.
Does that make sense, Daniel?
Yep.
Okay. All right, so if I kind of put this guy right on out here, right? Kind of feel like we take just a little mini swing, right? And then kind of, yeah, I like that. Good. Half swing, right, good. Good. Yeah, look how everything now is moving forward, right?
Yeah, it feels more natural.
Yeah. I mean, there's a point between those two, as I said, right? It's not releasing too early, it's not holding that lag, it's finding the right porridge, right?
Yeah.
Not too hot, not too cold.
My takeaway actually feels better too now that I'm not like turning up.
Yeah. So now you're going to be able to keep that club a little bit more in front of you, right? Instead, when the hands get rolling back, that club's going to get real deep on you.
Yeah.
And that's probably what Blake was trying to get you away from,
Yeah.
right? Is to get those hands to more here and there.
Yeah.
Right? I wouldn't want to take anything away from the guy. The guy knows what he's talking about, right? It's just he was in a different location, and I'm just trying to decipher that, right?
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
100%. I was like, if he was my coach, I'd probably trust his judgment. You know what I mean? But
Yeah.
obviously, you're teaching me at a pace that.
You know, I guarantee
where I'm
if we were both in here, we'd probably be saying the same thing, just in a different language.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Exactly.
That's fine. That's what that foam noodle's for. Don't be afraid to hit it. If you do, you do. Okay? Don't be afraid. But you're going to feel like you're kind of throwing that club into the ground a little bit. Yeah, there you go. You feel that? That momentum's going past you there, isn't it?
Yep.
Nothing you can do to stop it. All right, and now we're getting rid of holding that angle down or anything like that. Good. All right, so what we're going to do now, okay, is we're going to hit a few balls. Actually, I'm going to have you push this just a couple times for me. Okay? And then all we're going to do is we're going to hit little low punch shots. Okay? And what we're all going to try to focus on here is just getting our low point down a little bit.
Okay.
Okay? Getting our ball flight down, getting our spin to where it needs to kind of be. So when we get into the fitting, it'll be a lot easier for you. Okay? Or at least you'll have a better sense of what they're saying and what you need to kind of do. Okay?
Yeah.
Good.
Yeah, I was gonna get a feel for the.
Just a little bit on. There you go. Okay, push it on through. Good. Yeah.
I was gonna get a feel for the 7s versus the 5s when I go back, because I remember the 5s felt good, but
There you
I
go.
don't remember what the 7s felt like.
One more time. There you go. Feel that arm structure out in front of you?
Yeah.
Okay? That's what we want to kind of make sure that we maintain, right?
Okay.
You know, as I tell everybody, I tell them the story of this, right? When you look at the PGA logo, right, what is the image they have?
It's the guy after, like his follow through, right?
Right? So he's like this,
Yeah.
right? There's a main reason for that, right? Because if I get to this position, it means that everything in the back was good.
Yeah.
Or mostly, right?
Mostly.
Okay, I mean, they didn't go with an image like this. They didn't go with an image like this.
Yeah.
They went with an image like this.
Yeah.
Okay? So maintaining that arm structure out in front of us is paramount.
Okay.
Okay? All right, so what we're going to do is we're going to hit 5 shots here. Okay? All we're doing is we're basically getting the left arm parallel to the ground, shaft up in the air, wherever that may be. It could be here, there, wherever, okay? Don't get too lost in the sauce on that. But left arm parallel to the ground, swinging down and through and maintaining that structure out in front of us.
Okay.
Sound good?
Yep.
Okay. 1, 2, 3. Okay.
Is that good in the stance right there?
Yeah.
For the
What
ball?
do we got there? 8?
8.
Yeah. Really, the big thing is just make sure you feel like that the butt of the club is pointing just left of your navel, about an inch.
Yep.
Okay. All right, so we're just gonna hit 5 punch shots. Yep, that's it. That's it. Working on it slowly. It's fine. This is about feel, not technique, okay? Mhm. There you go. So look at this, right? What do you think your low point was?
Had to be lower.
8.1,
8.
right? So what those guys are trying to tell you is what we're doing now,
Okay.
right? We're getting that low point down, okay? Which is going to get our height down. We're down to 31 feet. Of course, we're just hitting a punch shot,
Yeah.
but you can tell that we're changing where our low point is.
Okay.
Instead of being 1.9 inches behind, now we're 8 inches ahead.
Okay.
Okay, once we start getting to a full swing, now it'll start changing a little bit. But right
Okay.
now, let's just stick with what we're doing, okay, partner?
Sounds good.
All right, left arm parallel, driving down and through, maintaining that structure. Feel a little bit of a flip there?
Yeah.
Okay. All right, get that ball a little bit more up in your stance. See how you're getting it back? Yeah. The more the ball goes back, the more you got to go back to go get it.
Okay.
All right. Better. Okay. Because once we try to get that ball too far back, we can't laterally shift into the ball.
Yeah.
Okay, that's where, you know, we're going to have that ball up, we're going to turn behind it, and we're going to shift. You will see these guys, they start going off the races there.
Yeah.
Right? But if I have that ball too far back, I'm going to turn like this, and then I'm going to stay behind it
Yeah.
and flip.
Try and
Okay,
flip it.
so it's always going to feel like it's a little annoyingly up. Okay?
Okay.
Mhm. Good. What's that feel like to you? Talk to me.
It feels definitely like I'm trying to think of the word, but this already feels better because that feels natural. When I was hinging and then coming up, it felt like I was kind of getting in the right place, but like you said, I am farther back. I'm not up. So this feels like I'm in the right position, and then coming through like this feels right. Like,
Right?
you know.
Yeah.
I felt what you were saying and showing when I was tucking my arms in. When I felt all the things that you were saying, like the flip, and I knew something was not right coming through, and I wasn't getting the low point or whatever. The attack angle was okay, but I made those chalk lines, and the blue line was like basically untouched unless I put the ball way up
Yeah.
and then like swung through, it just didn't feel right. So that,
Right. That's just our low point, kind of flipping at it, falling back.
Yeah.
Right. And it starts with the takeaway, right?
Yeah.
If my takeaway gets handsy, everything's running off, right? And I'm always trying to play catch up with
Yeah.
that, right? So really the big thing for us right now is just kind of taking it, half swings right here, working on driving down and through and getting our low point.
Okay.
I know they're going to be wanting you to do full swings at the
Turn right.
fitting, but try to,
Oh.
the big thing is try to maintain the idea of keeping your arm structure out in front of you and not flip. right?
Yeah.
That's going to put a lot of loft and spin on the ball
Okay.
that we don't need.
Okay.
Right, so I understand what they're saying once I kind of see the swing.
Yeah. No, it makes sense. What should I do in regards to the irons then? I mean, should I have him? I have 2 hours and 15 minutes. I could always go back again, but I gotta take time off work. It's in St. Pete, you know.
Mhm,
My,
mhm.
So should I ask them to look at the irons for like 20 more minutes, or?
Well, you know, right now I would make sure I get the putter,
Yeah.
right? Get the putter fitting. Okay,
Yeah.
let's start with that.
Yeah.
Okay, definitely do the driver. Okay, because you can kind of get away with a little bit more of the moves that you're kind of making a little bit, because the driver is a little bit of a specialty shot, right? Because we do want loft and height with that a little
Yeah.
bit. But you know, maybe you kind of see if you've made any little strides with the irons a little bit, but I
Yeah.
wouldn't get lost too much in that right now, because really what we need to kind of go for right now is a little bit more of a feel.
Yeah.
Okay, trying to get this thing to start going down for us a little bit, popping for us a
Yeah.
little bit, and not flicking through.
So I guess my question is, should I hold off just buying irons in general? Do you think, or should I just get?
Well, I would buy those irons again.
Don't remind me. I'm already thinking about it.
I know. You know, I like the idea that you're thinking about piecing it together, but right now I don't think we need to worry about, you know, other than the length, right? Your length is terrible on that,
Yeah.
right? That's the big thing, right? You know, if I was going to have a practice club around the house, I'd go put an extension in it, or buy something off eBay that's got a quarter or a half-inch extension in it. I don't care if it's an old, you know, Wilson staff iron
Yeah.
or something like that, you know, but I think the loft or the lie angle and the length for you is just not suitable for your body type.
Yeah.
That's what I would say. And
Yeah.
that might be what they're saying too.
Well, I asked that because two things. One, I found a set of ZXI 7s online for $625. They're new, but I found a set of the Project X shafts for 150. So we're talking about, you know, $1,000 less damn near that I could piece these together, and I would have 7 ZXI 7s.
Do you know how to put irons together?
Well, I would have like Dix or somebody do it for me, basically. No, I don't know how to put it. That's the next step in the.
Okay.
I have someone that could do it, but or the other second option is I have a guy in Fort Myers that will do the full build plus half-inch, the same way, customized like they told me, for $1,200, done out the door, new.
Okay.
So, because I buy clubs from him, like he's like one of my supplier guys. So
Okay.
that's the other option. Not to take away business from them, I'm gonna buy clubs from them still.
No, but we've got to get what's right for you, right? And we're not obligated to those people,
No.
right? I mean, I like them to death, but if it's not exactly what you want, don't be afraid to say no when I'm walking away.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, they're in business too. I guarantee you, they've dealt with failure and success. Right? They're going to continue on with that. We all do. Right? But we got to find what's right for you. But the big thing, as far as me as an instructor, right, is that we've got to maintain our structure out in front of us, keeping our low point, keeping our arms moving through, right? Which is going to, no matter what you get for irons, right, that's going to help improve,
Yeah.
right? Now, what the length, shaft, and all that would be, it might be debatable between all of us, right?
Yeah.
I might have a different opinion than Blake or Sean or you, right?
Yeah.
And that's the beauty about golf, right? But as an instructor, I can see that there are certain things that we need to fundamentally do to be able to hit the ball crisp.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
It doesn't matter if I gave you, you know, as I said, old Wilson staffs,
No, yeah.
or if I gave you the greatest in TaylorMade,
Yeah.
right?
No, yeah, for sure. That's what my dad and Cecily, my fiance, was saying. She's like, "Can't you just play old beat up clubs until you?" I was like, "I could."
All right, but I think if we can start to get these feels, it starts to help with that process of fitting for sure. All right, so stay right there. Hold on a sec, big guy. All right, so we're going to put this guy right on up over here. Okay? So what you're going to do is we're going to hit punch shots, right? And we're going to get that tee out of the ground.
Okay.
You got me?
Yep.
Okay.
Actually, when I play a course, I usually put like a leaf in front of the ball.
Perfect. I used to do that out on the range.
Yeah.
Set up for me. Okay. Feel that left arm parallel,
Mhm.
down, boom, through. Good job. Let that right foot come through for me, partner. There you go, good.
Do I still need to put this foot back a little bit?
What do we have, an 8? No, not terribly too much. With the driver, I definitely have that right foot back,
I do.
right? We can have it back just slightly,
Okay.
right? But we don't want to get too dramatic,
Okay. Yeah, I put it back with the driver.
okay? So I want that ball a little bit more up in our setup, right? That way we can get into our lead side as we come down. There you go. Yeah, that felt a little better. Feel that?
Yeah.
Okay.
I think I was also.
Right, so I mean, let me just kind of give it to you in another way, right? So if that ball, right, if I've got that ball up, right, and I turn back, now I've got a chance to shift, right, and get into it, right? If I get that ball too far back, then I get like this, and I got to work my way back.
Yeah.
And where's that ball going?
Yeah.
On that little shot right
Yeah.
there, right? So, as I said in the beginning, it's got to feel annoyingly up, right? That way that left hip can run towards the target a little bit for us.
Okay. That's fine. No, when I was setting it up in my stance on the closer to the blue line, that's when I was, well, some of the time my angles were better.
Right, left down, arm parallel to the ground, right? And then maintain that structure out front. Let's see how we're doing with our body lines. Okay. A little better. Okay, good. All right. Just had your body lines a little too open, right?
Okay.
Feel like they're kind of more square, all right? There you go, good.
And this should be.
Yeah, soft, right? We don't need a lot of stress in that. Good. Good. Hitting a punch shot. Here we go. Hitting punch shots. Let's take a look at this, okay? Probably like to see those shoulders a little bit more square, not so far down.
Okay.
Okay, so you see how you kind of get this guy really back over here?
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
so feel like we're going to stand a little bit taller. Hold on a sec. Let's just kind of take a look at this guy.
I'm sliding a little bit.
Yeah, that's what I thought I saw.
Yeah.
That's what I was looking at right there. Okay. So if I kind of put a little line right here, right there, let's see how far we're going over. Yeah, just a little bit, right?
A little bit. Yeah.
Right. So that's going to alter our low point quite a bit, right? Because we
Yeah.
started right here, right?
Yeah.
And then we moved back, what, maybe 2-3 inches, right? So now your sternum's over here behind the ball.
Okay.
Okay, and then you never really get it back to there. Does that
Yeah.
make sense?
Yeah.
Okay. So, once again, okay, let's kind of get a feeling for this. Let's put the club across our chest. Okay, let's do this together. Okay, so club just right across our shoulders, up on our shoulders. There you go, right there on the nodules. Very good. Right? So we just want to kind of feel like the lead shoulder kind of turns down and around. Lead shoulder, left shoulder.
Oh.
There you go. Okay. What I want you to just kind of notice is what your right hip's doing. Okay, so here we go once again. Set up again for me. There you go. Okay, here we go. All right, feel what your right hip's doing there? Yeah. Okay, that's going to keep our low point in the same area. Now if we move forward, right, now we're going to be able to get that low, our low point much more further ahead of the ball what we're looking. Okay. Right? Right now you're kind of going like this. Yeah. Right? And then you're trying to come back to it, and now our low point's still back behind it. Does that make sense? Mm-hmm. Okay?
Yeah, I practice the ball on the wall, but obviously when I'm thinking about other things,
oh yeah.
I'm still, it's like...
Right. Yeah. It just takes a lot of time and practice, right? Yeah. I still do this drill, right? I think it was given to me 25 years ago, and I'm still doing this drill.
Yeah, I do it usually when I'm warming up. I do like, I don't know how many, for like 5 minutes.
All right. But the big thing is keep going again, right? Right. Feel like just wallet pocket here is going towards our target.
Okay.
Okay. So kind of look at me here real quick, right? See my wallet right there, right? As I go.
Okay.
See how it's going towards that target?
Yeah.
Now what you can kind of do for a drill, right? I think I might have some. Here's a shirt. Right, here's a great way to kind of practice at home. Okay. So I'm going to get an alignment rod. Right, I'm going to put that right here. Okay. And then I'm going to take this, I'm going to stick it right here in my back. Okay. And then what I want to do, right, I'll demonstrate this for you, okay? I want to get this towel on this side of the line.
Okay. Okay.
Okay? Right now you'd be kind of like this.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. So we just need to get in the mirror, get some practice time going, and this is what we need to feel.
Okay.
Okay?
Makes sense.
Is this yours?
No.
Yeah. All right. You feel that right hip going up and back for you, right? That's kind of more the feeling that we need to have, and not that slide. Okay. All right. And that's going to keep that low point where we need to kind of be up ahead of that ball for our irons.
Okay.
Okay. So here you go. Set up again for me. There you go. Now turn. There you go. Okay. Once again. Yeah.
Yeah, I can actually still see the ball.
You probably see it out of the bottom of your eyes, which is fine. Okay. Thank God the ball's not going to move, right?
Yeah.
Okay, but we don't need to keep our head tilted down. Now we can get that left shoulder underneath our chin, right? And now we've got a lot more degree of turn with our shoulders.
Yeah. Well, that makes sense.
Okay.
Yeah, I think I was struggling to get my chin out of the way before.
Yeah. All right, and that's probably why you're sliding, because you want to get back behind the ball, right? Instead of getting into this motion.
Yeah.
Right? Now I bet if I had to make a guess, this probably feels like you're moving less than more, right?
Yeah.
Okay, good. That's my job as an instructor, to take the moves out, not really put them in.
Yeah.
Okay. There we go, good. Okay. So do that one more time. Now do you notice how your chest is turning up and around, right? It's more like pointing up towards the ceiling a little bit, or up towards the sky. Whereas before it's kind of like pointing more down to the ground a little bit, getting that crunch on the left side. Yeah. Okay.
That makes sense. This is that door frame exercise, isn't it?
Yeah, probably, yeah. That's what I would kind of go with, yeah. All right. Allow your left knee to drift back just a little bit for you, though. Yeah. Okay, see how that knee gets in line with the ball a little bit?
Yeah.
There you go.
So I can't, okay. So
Yeah. Yeah, there you go. All right, and then let your head kind of turn just a little bit. There you go. There you go. Okay. Now we're getting a lot more degree of rotation. All right. Okay, so that's what we need to kind of work with our hip a little
Okay.
bit. Now, you can either do things that I kind of showed you, put the towel back behind you, do that. Another thing you can also do, right, is if I kind of, a little, alignment rod or whatever it may be, right? But get your right hip up against something like that, right? And feel like I'm going to turn inside of that,
Okay.
right? That's as I was told as a kid, make it feel like it's 10,000 watt electrical pole. You don't want to touch
Don't
it,
wanna
right?
touch it,
So
yeah.
how would I move to get away from that but still
Yeah.
turn?
Turn.
Right? I'm going to move this guy everywhere I can. I'll get this chest over it, right? But I don't want to be doing this.
Yeah.
Dead bug.
Slide.
Okay.
Okay. That makes sense.
All right. So, but those are two different moves that we got to work on separately, right?
Yeah.
Not something that we need to tie in together right now, right? We need to work on maintaining that structure. That's one part.
Okay.
And then what we want to work with that part is just tilt and turn drill.
Okay.
Okay. Get a feel for that before we start trying to put that into play.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, I'll do the t-shirt thing at home.
Yeah, I think that'll be good. Also, get yourself a mirror if you got one.
Yeah.
See what's kind of going on, or videotape yourself so you make sure that you're not sliding or anything.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay.
No, that makes sense.
All right, big guy. Let's hit a few here. Let's get a little punch shot. Okay. Feel that low point. Okay. Left arm parallel to the ground. Maintain that structure out front of us. Punch shot. Good. All right.
Back to the beginning, huh?
Yeah, hey, that's fine. Yeah. Hear that little click off the bottom now?
Yeah.
I'm liking that.
Got some compression on it.
Good. Let's take a look here. I'm not worried about anything else. Much better job with maintaining that structure. Still getting a little tiny flip.
Yeah, a little flip, I think.
Okay? But it's a lot better, right? Look at that structure compared to where it was before, right?
Yeah.
We were all getting all cramped up like right here,
Yeah.
okay? But doing a lot better of maintaining that structure, right? Remember, Rome wasn't built in a day, right? Got to keep building at it. 1% a day, that's what they say. Get 1% better every day. Set up for me again. Good. Come on back. There you go.
Okay.
Left arm. There's your left arm parallel to the ground.
Okay.
You're kind of getting like right here.
So get it a little
And
higher.
I think we're kind of trying to push the ball instead of swing the club. Does that
Okay.
make sense?
Yeah.
Okay, good.
About right there.
Yeah. Well, it's all right. Okay, so you get a little bit more of a swing than what you thought, okay?
Yeah.
Okay, good. There we go. Much better. Much better. Okay, good. How's that feeling for you right there?
Feels good. I feel like I'm making good contact with the ball for the most part.
Great job maintaining that structure out in front of us, buddy. Good job. Okay.
I feel like I'm getting compression on the ball like every time now.
Good. All right. I'll do you one little favor, all right? Let's do one little favor here for me. Doing good. Okay. Just gonna have you feel like you're swinging out along that plane, that line right there, okay? Do the same thing we're doing. We're just gonna take it along that line, okay? Mhm. Yes. Okay, so what I just did there is your club path. Let's take a look at this. Okay, and this is the other thing too, a little bit for you. Right, so you were living way over the top on those drills.
Yeah.
Okay, we got you to go positive here.
Okay.
Okay, so though you're doing the drill correctly, right, we still want to be swinging in the right position. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I wasn't thinking about club path. Yeah.
Right, so I don't care that it's going out to the right now. We'll get that fixed. You're going to have to close the face a little bit sooner,
Okay.
right? But keep going with left arm parallel, feeling that, maintaining that structure, and swinging along that path line right now, okay? Yes. There you go. So here's the other thing that you start to see now that the club path isn't so far over the top, our low point starts to get better.
Yeah.
Okay, but once I start to come over the top, that means that I have to stop my chest, allow my arms to come through and go. So that's part of a problem too, right?
Yeah.
So we want to make sure our path is good so we can continue to release that and rotate through. And that's where you're going to get your rotation through, not by trying to force you to rotate, but having you exit in the right way and your body's going to naturally do that rotation. Does that make sense?
It does make a lot of sense, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, that was another thing I've been thinking about is like how to rotate through, but yeah, that makes sense.
It's going to be your arms that pull you through,
Yeah.
right? It's not going to be, all this crazy jazz that they're telling you,
Yeah.
right? I mean, if you're a PGA Tour guy who's getting stretched out and working out and all this flexibility stuff, yeah, that's going to matter. You're going to have shearing powers and stuff like that. But for us, we need to make sure our arms are going out the right path, and that's going to get me to turn through,
Okay.
right? Good. Yeah. All right, so if I got you, so just kind of set up, go up to halfway and start coming on down slowly. All right, good. So as you come on through here, right? Feel that?
Yeah.
Okay? Your body is out here. Your body's going to counter that weight going through, and that's going to get you to rotate. right? But if I come in with an exit pattern like this,
Yeah.
you're gonna stop rotating and your hands are gonna take over.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Yeah. All of this.
All right, so we don't have to think about it, we just need to have our path going out towards that second baseman. And our body does it naturally. There you go. Good job. Good job. All right, we just gotta do a mess of these, partner.
Yeah.
That's all. Good job with that finish. Now look, this is where I want us to live when we do this drill, right? With your wrap, you got the R10, R9,
Yeah, R10.
R10, right? Great little unit, right? This is where we want to be with our low point,
Okay.
okay? This is closer to where I want our path to be,
Yeah.
okay? If it's negative, very slightly negative, right? Probably more positive than anything.
Okay.
We start working on the face later, okay? That's why your face is chasing your path a little
Yeah.
bit, which is fine.
Yeah.
But the big thing is getting your low point down to anywhere from 3 to 4 for you right now,
Okay.
And that's going to get our height down. That's going to get our spin to where it needs to be, and look at our attack rate, right?
Yeah.
So that's going to be a big difference if we went there today with just these shots right away to see what it would be. Does
Yeah.
that make sense?
Yeah.
I'm not worried about where the face goes. That's something we've got to work on a little bit later, right? But right now we've got to make sure that we get that feeling of driving those arms out in front of us,
Yeah.
right? Maintaining that structure, because once that moment I start flipping, you're going to start hooking the ball, you're going to start thinning the ball. It's just a bad situation. Does
Yeah.
that make sense?
Yeah.
Right now I know what we have to work with, and that's an easy fix as long as we practice what we're working on.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Yep.
All right, big guy. Why don't you give me about 5 or 6 more, and then we'll give you a drill, and then let you get ready for your fitting.
Okay.
Yes. Yes. Feel yourself slide a little bit on that one?
Yeah.
Okay. Good.
I think I flipped on that one.
Okay. You felt it though, right?
Yeah.
That's a big difference. That's knowing what we need to work on. Good. Good job right there.
The club path was.
Club path was positive, face
Okay.
was just a little positive, that's fine.
Okay.
Closer to 0, that's where we all want to live. There you go. There you go.
Club path wasn't
All right.
great.
Felt that path going to the left on that
Yeah.
one?
Mhm.
Okay, good. Mm-hmm. There you go. So we're on that line right there on the ground, right? The path's going to follow that. Hands are following that path. Two more for me, big guy. Let's give you your prescription. got a little flip on that one, right?
Yeah.
Feel that?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Up in front. There you go. Good. Annoyingly up. There you go. All right, so let's talk about it here, big guy. Okay? So, first things first, right? Get ourselves like a little purse or bag. Doesn't have to be anything fancy, right? What I would kind of start off with. Grab the club here real quick. All right, first thing I would kind of do, right? Just kind of get a bag, just as so, right? And then just kind of work on pushing that through. Get a feeling of what your lower body's doing as you come through here on that, right? I would do that, you know, I would probably do 10 or 15 of those, right? Just kind of get a feel for it, right? Just kind of here, right? Feel yourself pushing through, feel your arms making the effort to get out in front of you, okay? Now the next thing I would kind of do, right, since we got like a little hitting area or something like that, I would get like a little something just like this, kind of put it out here in front of us, and let me jump on in there on you.
Yeah.
All right? And I would just kind of get the left arm parallel to the ground. That's all we're doing. See where that's at right there, right? And then I just want to kind of feel like if I was braced for impact, right? My arms are going to be extended. You can see my legs going down that line. There's nothing I can do to stop that momentum.
Yeah.
And that's what we want, right? Okay? We get too lost on trying to keep moving through, right, where we lose speed, okay? So if I got here, left arm parallel, okay? I don't really care if I hit that thing or not, okay? We could kind of even get to here and then kind of stop, whatever kind of works best for you to understand that, right? But it's going to have a little bit of a feeling as I get here that I'm kind of throwing the club into the ground a little bit, right? Releasing that club, right? Not trying to release it back here and not trying to hold the angle either, right? There's a middle ground that we need to have, right? Another way to kind of think about that, right? An easy way to think about that is if I just took my left hand here, right? That's how this tool wants to work, right? And if I kind of take the right hand, right, just kind of moving on through. Right? That's how this thing works. Okay. Now the other thing that we need to work on, right, is a little bit of our path. Okay. Get an alignment rod just like that. I would just get it to like here, and then I just want to feel my hands tracing along that line as I release the club. Right. Let the club go past my hands. So here. Okay. And all I'm looking for on this drill is my path being positive. Okay. Now, third, and most importantly, right, is that we've got to make sure that we get rid of that slide. Okay? Because if I have a slide, right, if I'm sliding back behind my thing and I have you playing it up where I want you to, your bottom's going to be way behind that, right? So making sure that we feel like we're turning inside of a barrel, okay? Or if we get that little thing right here and we just kind of get a mirror or something like that, and I feel like that is going to the right side of that. Okay, just get a feel for that. We're not trying to hit balls with that or anything like that. Just trying to get that feel. Okay, so you can kind of even do this, right? We did the alignment stick, right? And then just feel like your left shoulder turns down, right hip turns back. Boom. Okay, your head's going to move just a little bit. All right. Now the other thing that we kind of talked about that was kind of important, making sure you get your chin up just a little bit, right? To allow that shoulder to rotate under, right? Because if we get that chin to stop our shoulder, then I kind of get a path over the top, right? So I want a full rotation where my shoulders can get to about 90 degrees. Perfect. Perfect. Does that give you a good idea of what we're doing there? Okay. What are some questions you have for me, big guy? Talk to me.
A lot to work on.
Well, I think
it's like makes me happy and frustrated at the same time because I probably get carried away doing other things and then I lose sight of certain things. I've hit every night and I've been trying to hit less balls and focus more on what I'm doing in the swing versus just like, oh, I hit, whatever, 200 balls. But
well, the big thing is just getting back to where we started at, right? Just making sure I get my left arm parallel to the ground. We don't need to go full swing right now. And just work on our low point, right? That's going to help us more in the long run when we want to go get fitted, or even if we're doing a fitting, right?
Yeah.
If I get you here and we're getting a low point, at least we're getting that thing to go down, right? Now, what we want to kind of live in with your Garmin is probably anywhere from 3 to 4 inches ahead is
Okay.
where we want to kind of be right now.
Okay.
If we start to see the 1.7s, 1.9, probably need to look on the camera, and we'll start to notice that we're getting a little flippy,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
And what happens, you know, we start to slow down a little bit to accommodate for the club to go by, right? So what happens, chest stops, arms take over,
Yeah.
and then we get this left.
Flip. Yeah.
Rep, flip, and
Yeah,
a
I've
lot of
definitely been
spinning,
flipping.
high shot,
Okay.
right? What time's your fitting today?
3.
Okay.
3. So, yeah. I mean, I'll do the driver. I'll definitely. I'm gonna tell them I want to do the putter probably first.
Well, I hope you get the loud putter. Is that what you're looking at?
Well, something along those lines, yeah, something that, well, the nice thing is they take half your fitting fee towards any club. I thought it was just if you bought like irons or something. It's any club. So if I just buy a putter, that's $185 towards a putter right away because I already paid the fitting fee.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So that's like, if I buy a $250 putter, I'm only in, $65, $75 more. So
Yeah.
I'm definitely probably gonna get a putter through them. I just don't know if they gotta order it or how that, they probably have to order it, but we'll see. If not, and they tell me what I need, then I'll figure that out. But as far as like the irons, I guess